When Gerald came back for his 1-month follow-up, I could see the change in him before he even sat down. His eyes were brighter, his handshake was stronger, and there was this quiet confidence in his smile. He said, "Doc, I didn't realize how tired I'd been all these years until I stopped trying to fix everything with a powder." That's the moment most men never forget, when they finally feel what real, natural energy is supposed to feel like again. No jitters, no afternoon crash, no artificial high, just steady, grounded strength. Now, you might be wondering what replaced Gerald's old morning routine. And I'll tell you exactly what we did, because you can do it too. It's simple, gentle, and designed for men 70 and beyond. The first thing we did was to shift focus from boosting to balancing. Remember, your body at 75 doesn't need a flood of chemicals to work better. It needs rhythm, steady, predictable signals that help your hormones, blood flow, and energy stay in sync. So instead of those iron-hard smoothie powders, Gerald started his mornings with something his grandmother probably would have approved of: a glass of warm water with a pinch of Himalayan salt and a squeeze of lemon. It's a simple hydration trick that helps wake up your blood vessels gently and supports adrenal balance. Then, instead of a heavy breakfast smoothie with 6 different powders, we switched to real food: eggs, avocado, and a small serving of oats with cinnamon. Those foods nourish testosterone naturally, improve circulation, and stabilize blood sugar. That combination, hydration, balance, and steady nutrition, helps your blood vessels relax naturally. It keeps nitric oxide flowing smoothly instead of being forced by artificial boosters. And guess what? That's the key to natural erections at any age. Not stimulation, but circulation. I told Gerald something I tell all my patients. Your blood vessels are like old garden hoses. If you keep forcing water through them at high pressure, they'll crack and wear out. But if you gently maintain flow, they'll last for years. He nodded, and that analogy really clicked for him. Because it's true. So many men are unknowingly overworking their vascular system by forcing it to perform every day instead of supporting it to work naturally. And here's something fascinating. Once we fixed Gerald's mornings, his nights improved too. He started sleeping deeper and longer, which allowed his testosterone levels to recover naturally. Sleep is the single most powerful, overlooked factor in a man's performance after 70. It's during sleep that the body repairs tissue, balances hormones, and restores circulation. That's why I always say, if you want to feel strong again, start with your mornings, but protect your nights. Now, I know many of you watching might still feel skeptical. Maybe you've tried cutting out your supplements or switching your routine and didn't notice much difference. That's okay. Every body is different, but what matters is consistency. Your body isn't a machine, it's a garden. It responds to steady care, not sudden fixes. Give it a few weeks of calm, balanced nourishment, and you'll be amazed how your energy, focus, and even your confidence in the bedroom start to return. If this message makes sense to you, if you've been chasing energy through quick fixes and you're ready to focus on real, natural strength, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And please, leave me a quick yes or no in the comments below. I read through your responses personally because your feedback helps me understand what's really working for men your age. One thing I often remind my patients, and I want to remind you too, is that it's never too late to turn things around. I've seen men in their 80s regain not only their energy, but their passion for life, simply by changing their morning routine and letting their bodies heal naturally. Gerald's story didn't stop at stronger mornings. He started walking again, lost a few pounds, and said he felt like his old self had come back. His wife told me, laughing, "He's humming around the house again, and I haven't heard that in years." That's what happens when circulation returns, not just to your body, but to your spirit. Now, I know some of you are wondering, Dr. Easton, what about natural supplements? Surely there must be something that helps without all those side effects. And that's a great question. The truth is, there are natural compounds that work beautifully with your body, not against it.
but they're often overshadowed by the flashy, quick results powders that dominate the market. In the next part, I'll explain exactly what those gentle, natural supports are, the ones that help men over 75 rebuild real blood flow, stamina, and vitality from the inside out. But before we go there, I want you to take one small action today. Go to your kitchen, look at the ingredients of any powder, shake, or vitality drink you've been using. If you see ingredients you can't pronounce, or if the label promises instant male performance, that's your cue. Your body deserves better than that. When Gerald returned 3 months later, he wasn't the same man who had first walked into my office. Hunched shoulders, tired eyes, and a look of quiet defeat. This time, he came in smiling, his steps firm, his voice clear. He shook my hand and said, "Doc, I feel like a man again." And not just in the bedroom, everywhere. That's the power of restoration, not stimulation. And that's the message I want every man watching to take to heart. Because the truth is, after 75, your body still has the tools it needs to keep your energy, circulation, and manhood strong. It just needs you to stop fighting it with synthetic boosters and start working with it. See, what Gerald learned, and what most men never get told, is that the secret to real, lasting vitality isn't in a powder or a drink. It's in how you nourish your body's natural chemistry. Let's talk about that for a moment. There are 3 nutrients that I always recommend my older patients focus on. Not exotic herbs or hard-to-find pills, but simple, natural supports that strengthen blood flow and hormones the way nature intended. The first is magnesium. It helps relax your blood vessels and improve circulation without overstimulating your heart. Most men over 70 are deficient in it, and it's one of the biggest hidden causes of poor erections. You can find it in leafy greens, pumpkin seeds, and even dark chocolate in moderation. The second is vitamin D, the sunshine hormone. It supports testosterone and boosts nitric oxide production, the same natural molecule those iron-hard powders try to force. Just 20 minutes of morning sun or a good quality supplement can make a world of difference. And the third is citrulline, found in watermelon and cucumber. Unlike synthetic L-arginine powders that overwhelm your system, citrulline gently helps your body make its own nitric oxide safely and steadily. That's what Gerald started adding back in, natural, food-based sources of strength. No labels, no false promises. Within weeks, he didn't just get stronger physically, his confidence grew, his posture straightened, and his wife told me, "He's been humming around the house again, and I haven't heard that in years." That's what happens when circulation returns, not just to your body, but to your spirit. Now, I know not everyone watching has the same lifestyle or health situation. Some of you might have diabetes, high blood pressure, or heart concerns. That's why I always say, before adding anything new, talk to your doctor. But the principle remains the same. Your body doesn't need more, it needs better. And the beautiful thing is, once your system stabilizes, your body starts rewarding you with steady energy, deeper sleep, and yes, stronger, more reliable erections that come naturally. No stress, no pressure, no dependency. That's what I've seen time and time again over my 30 years in men's health. Once men stop chasing quick results and start trusting their bodies again, everything changes. Not overnight, but surely and steadily. And if you've made it this far in the video, I want to take a moment to thank you. It means you care about your health, and that tells me you're the kind of man who doesn't give up easily. You've faced challenges, loss, and stress in ways younger generations can't imagine, but you're still here, still trying to improve. That resilience alone puts you miles ahead. So if today's message resonated with you, if you've ever felt frustrated by those miracle recipes that never seem to work long-term, do me a favor, tap the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and leave me a quick yes or no in the comments below. Let me know if you'd like me to share Gerald's exact morning formula, the real one that brought his strength back without a single booster. I personally review your answers, because they help me shape each video with your stories in mind. And who knows, your question might inspire the next video that helps thousands of other men your age. Before we close, I want to leave you with one thought. Your body hasn't given up on you. It's been waiting, patiently, for you to give it the right kind of care. You don't need to feel embarrassed, broken, or old. You just need to realign with what your body already knows. Slow down, nourish deeply, and let balance replace the chase for quick fixes. When Gerald left my office that last time, he turned back at the door and said, "Doc, I wish I'd known this 20 years ago." And I told him, "You didn't need to. You know it now, and that's enough." So to every man over 75 watching this, take that same wisdom with you. It's never too late to feel alive again. Your body remembers what it feels like to be strong. All you need to do is remind it, gently, one morning at a time.
You know, every week I get messages from men in their 70s saying almost the same thing. "Doc, I'm doing everything right. I eat healthy, I walk, I even take those special recipes everyone's raving about online. But why am I losing my morning erections?" That right there is what brings us to today's topic. Seniors 75 plus, this iron hard recipe is quietly killing your erections. Now, before we dive in, I want to share a quick story that'll sound all too familiar for many of you. A few months ago, a patient of mine, let's call him Gerald, came to see me. Gerald is 77 years old, retired from the post office, proud grandfather of 3. He told me he'd been following a popular online men's vitality recipe every morning. It promised to keep his energy high and his performance, well, as iron hard as the headline said. He was adding ingredients like spinach, beetroot, and a certain power booster powder he found online that supposedly supported nitric oxide and blood flow. For a few weeks, he felt great, or at least he thought he did. But then slowly, his energy started dipping. He stopped waking up with morning erections. His confidence took a hit. When I looked into what he was taking, I realized that while the ingredients sounded healthy, one small part of that recipe, the booster powder, was doing the opposite of what it promised. Now, before I reveal what it was, let me introduce myself properly. My name is Dr. Nolan Easton, and for over 30 years, I've helped men in their 60s, 70s, and beyond restore their vitality and confidence naturally. I've seen thousands of cases just like Gerald's, good men doing their best, unknowingly sabotaging their health with things they believe are helping. And that's exactly why I make these videos, to clear up the confusion and help you avoid the silent traps that steal your strength without warning. So, back to Gerald. After reviewing his recipe, we found that his so-called natural booster contained excessive L-arginine, an amino acid that's often sold as a blood flow enhancer. Sounds good, right? But here's the catch. When you take too much of it, especially at Gerald's age, it can actually interfere with nitric oxide production in your body, leading to weaker erections over time. The same goes for many of these iron-hard smoothies or powders that are trending among seniors right now. They promise vitality, but they overload the body with ingredients that disrupt natural balance, too much arginine, hidden caffeine, and even artificial sweeteners that affect testosterone levels. It's heartbreaking because men like Gerald don't realize they're making things worse. They follow what's marketed as healthy, yet they end up tired, frustrated, and questioning their manhood. Now, if you're watching this and thinking, "Doc, I've been using one of those recipes," don't panic. This isn't about shame, it's about awareness. Because once Gerald understood what was happening, we made a few simple changes, and within weeks, he started to feel his old spark returning. And that's exactly what I want for you. If this topic hits home, if you've been noticing changes in your energy or performance, even though you think you're doing the right things, go ahead and tap that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a simple yes or no in the comments below. I read every response, and it helps me understand what kind of issues you're facing so I can create videos that truly help. Now, back to the bigger picture. The truth is, your body at 75 doesn't process nutrients the same way it did at 40. What used to give you energy can now throw off your natural rhythm. That's why I tell my patients that balance is more important than boosting. You don't want to flood your system, you want to support it, gently, naturally, and in sync with how your body works now. Gerald's story is a perfect example. When we removed that powder and adjusted his morning routine, his body slowly recalibrated. Within 3 weeks, he told me he woke up one morning and thought, "Well, hello there, it's been a while." And he laughed. That's the best part of my job. Seeing men regain that confidence, that spark of youth, that quiet smile that says, I feel like myself again. When Gerald first stopped that so-called iron hard recipe, he didn't feel much different for a few days. In fact, he called me after a week and said, Doc, I think it's all the same. Maybe I'm just too old for that part of life. And I could hear it, that quiet resignation that so many men in their 70s start to feel. The belief that once you hit a certain age, your body just doesn't respond anymore. But that's not the truth. See, what Gerald didn't realize is that his body wasn't broken, it was overloaded. His system had been flooded with stimulants, additives, and blood flow boosters that kept his blood vessels under constant pressure. When he stopped, his body needed time to recover its natural balance. That's something I explain to every man who walks into my clinic. At 75, your body's ability to regulate itself is still strong. It just needs the right conditions to do its job. And when you strip away the artificial enhancers, your body begins to relearn how to function on its own. Now, I don't blame men like Gerald. Those recipes and powders sound convincing. They promise vitality, confidence, and youth in a glass. The labels show fit men smiling with their arms crossed, and the words clinically proven make it sound safe. But here's the problem. What's clinically proven for a 35-year-old athlete doesn't always apply to a 75-year-old retiree with slower metabolism, thinner blood vessels, and a different hormonal rhythm. When I ran tests on Gerald, we found his testosterone was lower than average for his age, but not dangerously low. What was really off were his nitric oxide and vascular tone. His arteries were tight, not clogged, just tense, a common issue I see when men rely on synthetic energy blends. Those ingredients force dilation and constriction over and over again, which eventually tires out your vessels, much like overworking a muscle every single day. That constant strain is what leads to weak circulation down there, no matter how many boosters you take. So I told Gerald something simple. We're not going to add more. We're going to let your body rest, clean out, and start healing from the inside. For 2 weeks, he swapped his fancy morning blend for warm lemon water, a boiled egg, and a light walk after breakfast. No powders, no caffeine, no fancy supplements. Just calm, consistent nourishment. And then something interesting happened. Around day 10, he said, Doc, my hands and feet don't feel cold anymore. That's always a good sign. It means circulation is improving. Then by the 3rd week, his sleep deepened, his morning energy returned, and as he put it with a grin, I started waking up like a teenager again. Now, this isn't magic, it's biology. When your body isn't being pushed and tricked by artificial enhancers, it starts to repair the natural communication between your nerves, blood vessels, and hormones. That's what creates real, lasting vitality, not temporary stimulation. I want to pause for a second and speak to you directly. If you've been relying on one of these so-called super recipes and you're noticing less energy or weaker erections over time, that's your body trying to tell you something. It's not punishment, it's feedback. And that feedback can change everything if you start listening. If that makes sense to you, if you've ever noticed that these so-called boosters work great for a month, but then seem to stop, tap the like button right now. It helps me know these messages are reaching the right people. And drop a yes or no in the comments if you've ever tried one of those online men's vitality blends. I read through every comment because it helps me understand what's really going on out there for men your age. Now, here's what most men don't know. Many of these recipes contain ingredients that are fine in small doses, but become dangerous when taken daily. For example, too much beetroot or pomegranate extract can lower blood pressure excessively, especially if you're already on heart medication. That can leave you dizzy, fatigued, or worse, unable to maintain blood flow where it counts most. Then there's hidden caffeine in natural energy powders. Even mild stimulation can restrict blood flow when used regularly, leading to more tension instead of less. And let's not forget artificial sweeteners. Many of them disrupt testosterone production and affect nerve sensitivity. It's no wonder so many men come to me saying, Doc, I feel wired but weak. That's exactly how Gerald described it. Full of energy 1 minute, completely flat the next. And once he understood that his body didn't need more stimulation but more stability, things changed fast. His blood pressure normalized, his sleep improved, and his confidence, well, that came back naturally. See, the goal at this stage of life isn't to act like you're 25 again. It's to support your body the way it is now, wiser, slower, but still capable of incredible recovery if treated right. And that's the shift I want you to start making. Because when you learn what your body truly needs, not what marketing tells you it wants, everything from your energy to your erections starts working in harmony again.